I am so excited today to sit down. I get to interview the Bobby Aldridge of BAM Metrics, and it's a mouthful to say. It's the Bobby Aldridge method metrics. I'm teasing him about it. It's from Marin, California. He is an expert coach. Thank you so much for coming on with me today to the podcast.
Josh, thanks for having me. Excited to talk today.
And for those just kind of tuning in or might not be on the video, we have the opportunity to coach and to teach, to help other practitioners in something called Perform Better. And this is my second year, as Bobby's as well. And I kind of took the initiative this year to reach out to all sorts of different practitioners that are presenting that I think the world of, and Bobby is one of them. And I wanted to just sit down, talk their topic, talk about kind of where they're at in the industry right now, what's going on, and hopefully bring just a little bit of tangible information to you to kind of take into your own workouts, take into your own life. And that's what we're here for. So without further ado, Bobby, the overview, how are you? How's business? How's BAM? What's going on? What is BAM? Give us an overview.
BAM is Bobby Aldridge method, which is, I've always said there's not one method. BAM is basically, I started about 14 years ago, coming up with ways to help my clients repeat what I was teaching them on hand. But when I travel with my pro athletes, they'd be a little lost when I come back. So I started putting metrics to it. So take, for example, a yoga strap. I used to draw lines on it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I should put numbers on it. They can grab it at 26 rather than draw a line. And so that started the strap. And then I came up with a vest that hooks onto you and you lay on your back and you stretch, but it gives you a number. So like, are you at hamstring at 14? It's like a golf handicap. The lower it goes, the better you feel. And then I came out with the mat. So the mat basically has numbers and lines on it so you could get the people to put themselves in proper position. But the main thing I've been doing for so many years is teaching people how to move properly. And I've found that mobility is the key. So BAM is all about moving well and by using your core. So I talk about your core system, right? But not the core people are thinking about. Correct alignment, optimize mobility, restore balance, and then enhance performance. So many people are out there trying to enhance performance all the time. And that leads to a hamstring pull, for example, like what I'm talking about at Perform Better. It's like if we can get the wheels aligned and we can get them mobile, right? So the wheels are aligned, they're mobile, then we can get them moving better. And that's what I'm excited to talk about because the NFL is spending, I think, $100 million on hamstring pulls and why it's happening. And I believe the hamstring is a circuit breaker. It's not the reason, like, how do we fix just the hamstring? It's the upstream, downstream of what's going on with the body is what we have to look at. And one of my good friends, Rocky Schneider, who talks about the foot and works from the foot up, I just said, it totally makes sense. It's like, let's work on our feet. And when you connect that from foot to opposite glute to shoulder to the hand, that's the kinetic chain. That's what BAM's about. We're trying to move well based on numbers and see where we can be. That's kind of a simple way I can explain it.
And what's really funny is as simple as that was, it's still complex for so many. And so basically what he's trying to say is that it's an integrative system. And can you go back and repeat what you said core was? I think the way you said that was it eloquently put? It's so well said. Go ahead again.
Well, I just noticed that on the internet, everybody's talking core, 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 core. And one day I was thinking correct alignment, optimize mobility, restore balance, and then enhance performance. So that's my core. That's like something that you're going to have forever. If you're going to do and move your body well, you can't have a right shoulder that's forward and a left hip that's here and your back's hunched over in a kyphotic position. And then you want to swing a golf club really fast. It's like, it's not really going to happen. And if it does, you usually will complain my back hurts or something hurts. Core is what I came up with to make it easy for people to understand, to hit these four things in that order. So you're not enhancing performance until you're mobile. Can you move well? And mobility doesn't mean flexibility. Mobility means you're stable and strong with flexibility. That's the definition of mobility. And a lot of people that are new to it, when I say mobility, they think stretching, right? They don't think you're strong. And I go, no, we do medicine ball push-ups. That is a core exercise. It literally is working your core. It's not about the push-up. Don Chu, who's been one of my mentors for years and did the book Jumping into Plyometrics, when we did the push-ups on the ball, I was like, hey, Don, why is this making us so strong? I'm literally getting stronger on the bench and I never bench press. Like, what is going on? And he goes, Bob, that's a tremendous core exercise. And I said, what did you mean? Shoulder to glute to foot. That's that connection I was talking about.
Connection.
You literally are making that connection better. As that connection of the foot, glute, shoulder gets better, the body starts moving more coordinated. You run better, you walk better, you rotate better, your T-spine's moving. A lot of people work in the sagittal. They're right here. You got Olympic lifting, you got power lifting, you got all these guys that are strong football players. That's why I said NFL, strong, but they don't have that connection properly. So then the hamstring starts pulling and the hips are tilted on one side and under the other. A little muscle's a little weaker, one's a little longer, and they're fighting each other. And all of a sudden that rubber band breaks. So you can't stop hamstring pulls. You're not going to stop it, but at least we can help it, I believe, if we get that moving properly and start working that kinetic chain, because so many players have a problem with the really simple. They can't do these single leg and these different reach and row and the pushes and the pulls and the things that you would think they look simple, but they're very complex with how the body works. And so that's what I'm excited about talking about at Perform Better and showing these different exercises.
I was very fortunate before I ever came across Lauren. I was very fortunate that my college coach was very understanding about like the back to basics of the fundamental concepts returning from season. And so a lot of people think, you know, high level athletes are always doing the flashy drills or the big crazy movements. And what blew my mind, and I didn't understand it back then that I understand now, right? As like the seasoned trainer, the coach, the therapist, is that we would return, and for it was 3 to 4 months of build the basics, basic movements, and just reestablishing a foundational. And you talk about core from the sense of integrating systems and how
Yes.
your sport kind of takes you out of this box, whatever you're playing, whether you're playing tennis and you're over rotating or you're overstretching your hamstring in a sprint pattern running down the football field. No matter what sport you're playing, there is this almost you overreach a little bit. It's natural.
Mm-hmm.
Job of a good strength coach, like Bobby is saying, is to bring you back into this realm of control and start to stabilize and control movement again before you get to do what you said is E is what? Explore performance. E is
Enhance.
enhance performance, enhance performance.
Enhance.
And I love that. And so now, why specifically the hamstring of all the things you could tackle? Because the concept is fantastic, but why hamstring?
Yeah, that's funny you asked that, because I literally heard the NFL was spending $100 million on hamstring, and I'm like, they're talking about a muscle. And I sat at the Sportsmith conference with 400 of the smartest people in the room. I was the dumbest guy in the room. This is medical staff of USC, UCLA, pro teams. Everybody was there. I'm like sitting there going, God, I'm the dumbest guy in the room here. And they kept talking muscle groups. And one of them was the hamstring. And I kept saying, God, they're still talking muscle groups. Why aren't they talking the connection from the foot to the glute, to the shoulder, to the hand? And I was like, man, that's when it popped in my head. I'm going to talk about that, because at this whole conference, they kept talking muscle groups. And it's not a muscle group. It's a connection of the fascia and all that body moving from the fingers all the way to the end. And how can we control that movement? Once we can control the movement, we can go faster. We can go faster than we ever thought. One of the things I like to tell the story of, when I was 50, I'm 57 now. So when I was 50, my son was playing baseball there. He's 12 years old. He said, hey, can we have a bench press contest with the bar? And I said, sure. So the kids did it, and they did 17, the 12-year-olds. Then the high school kids jumped in and they did 38. Then the college kids jumped in, they did 78. And they said, Bob, what can you do? And I'm like, oh my God, shit, I'm 50 now. I did 104 when I was 25. And I could bench 315 at the time. Now I bench like 250, 260. Weaker, I'm 50. I'm thinking, okay, 79, I can get 79. I got to focus, right? I got to get fired up for this. So here we go. I can do anything one time. I'm tough. Get going. 75, 100, 150, 200. How the hell did I just do 200? When I was 25, I only did 104 because I'm in a better position. My shoulders aren't the buff guy that can bench 315. I'm the weak guy that's in a good position now. So this was effortless. I didn't even feel my shoulders. My triceps finally gave out. So better position, more rep, more resilient, do it often, no problem. So I left there going, oh my God, my program's working amazing. That was the shocking day of, I didn't have anything to compare to,
Proof is in the
you know?
pudding.
Yeah, I was like, I left there going, oh my God, this is working unbelievable. So, and just recently, my swing speed is at the highest it's ever been at 118 miles an hour. And my brother's looking at me like, dude, how are you swinging faster now than you did when you're 25?
So I recently just ran. I just on my own tried to run a 40. Of just like I warmed up, I
Mm,
did everything. I've been doing sprint training and curve work and things like that.
uh-huh,
Others than maximally loading, because I just don't load a 635 back squat anymore. There's no reason for it in my life.
uh-huh.
Other than the just sheer weight of like weight on it. I was a tight end when I played. I
Okay.
ran a faster 40 than I did with Lauren on a like radar, and I ran it multiple times. I can honestly agree with everything in the fact of I am stronger and faster than I was when I was supposedly at my peak.
Yes. Yes.
So with age comes a little bit of knowledge or position. We'll say,
Wisdom,
with
wisdom.
position.
It literally is wisdom. And like I said too, back in the day, you think you're the smartest guy in the room, and you'd be like, I know what I'm doing. My first couple years in, I'm CSCS. That's what I do. Now that I know all this different stuff to do, I'm more confused now than I was then.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many ways to go about this stuff, but the one thing I'm
The more you
not
know, the
confused
less you
about,
know.
the one thing, mobility is freaking key. If you can't move well, why are we loading you and making you go faster? Because slow, I used to think Tai Chi was crazy. Like, what the heck is this? We're athletes. We're going to move really fast. But the thing is, can you control that movement through all the ranges of motion and control it effortlessly? Then from there, we can load it, put weight on us, and control it again. And then we can go faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
And now the body is resilient to the movement.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen now for years of testing and watching and understanding better. And the light bulb popped on. Mobility is key. Have to get mobile.
Have to. And it's interesting. So out in LA here, I specialize in spines and shoulders. So I'm a little
Okay.
bit therapist, less sports performance at this point.
Uh-huh.
You see me when surgery and PT hasn't worked, and I want to rewind on something. And you had talked about the fact of at Sportsmith, everyone was talking about this, muscle groups, muscle groups, muscle groups. I couldn't agree more in terms of I think my therapy success has come from understanding integrations of the body and connecting it just system, not symptom, right?
You got it.
And learning from people like you, from Rocky, right? Lauren, I give credit to again. Why do you think the current PT world, because it's not just Sportsmith, it's I deal with clients and they come back from their PT saying what the PT, or I read the report, and it's just truthfully, it's asinine. Why do you
Uh-huh.
think the current PT world is so stuck on that and not evolving to this full system concept or moving so slow in evolution?
I don't know why it's so slow. I literally had a guy a few years ago that I ran into at one of the physical therapy conferences, and he heard me talking, and he came up to me and tapped me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Hey, kid." And I thought that was funny because I'm 50, and he taps me on the shoulder, "Hey, kid." So he's 80. And so we start talking, and he's 80 now. And he helped me write a book. So we're working on a book that I'm finished with right now to try to get to. He wants me, because I'm not a physical therapist. I'm a strength and conditioning coach
Yep.
that's become a kinesiologist in how I look at the body and
Sure.
understand it. And I had 2 hip replacements in 23. I've done every injury in the book from ankles. I just had
Yep.
knee surgery. I just literally had
All the
meniscus
water.
surgery 4 weeks ago. I'm a train wreck of injuries because we tried everything. My brother and I used to jump off 10-foot ladders to increase our vertical so I could stand there and vertically tomahawk dunk. And my brother and I could do all these crazy things, but we were doing things that were stupid. We didn't know it. We're just getting more athletic. And so what I was saying is, I'm writing this book because Bill says the physical therapy world needs this to say, look at this simple exercise and look how it's measurable. We can take physical therapy people and get them to move better based on what they can do. The exercise is the assessment. Can they do it? If they can't, regress it. If they can, make it harder. But
Interesting.
we can do that based on a metric and what they can and can't do because you can see it. It's objectable. So what I was saying is the physical therapy world, I think, will start to understand this because they're going to have to if you really want to help people with fix their shoulder, you need their whole body to work, their core, their glute, their foot. If that's not connected, the shoulder's not going to get, you can't do these and say my shoulder's better. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you have to do other stuff to improve that. And they'll catch up. It's just, we need to go educate. It's just like me. This is why I said back in the day, I was the smartest guy there because I didn't know what I didn't know. I knew CSCS and I understood it and I studied it. And that's what I taught. And I thought that's all there is to it. Right. And then you find out there's FMS, and then you find out there's TPI, and then you find out there's Agostio, and you find out, and you keep going through all these things, and you're like, oh my God, what the hell do I do with all these things? How do I get these people to move better? Because I've got 12 things in my head I'm trying to use, right? So I started saying, I look at movement. So I see them move like when they walk in here, the athlete as they show up, the client as they show up. I look at them. Are they grimacing? Are they kind of walking funny? I'm evaluating as soon as they start walking in every day. Then I start them with the wall windmill because I want to see how they move on the wall when they glide the wall, right? So the movement is the assessment. The movement is a screen in itself. So every time I do something, my world, it's a metrics-based thing because I want to see how are they today. Today he can go to 4 boxes. Next time he comes back, he can't get to 4 boxes. You go, Bob, it hurts my back. That gives me information. And I go, why does it hurt his back? So the physical therapy world will get this someday when they start to see, wow, that made my client get better faster. Like I had, for example, I had the San Francisco Giants doctor. His wife had pain for 6 years. She came to me from a referral of a friend. I see her 3 weeks in a row. The third week, she's on the Wednesday. She goes, Bob, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to try to play golf tomorrow. She had back pain for 6 years. She goes out. She shoots the lowest round of golf she's ever shot. She calls me. She goes, I'm feeling so good. I'm going to try to play again. She beats her score the next day. She hasn't played. She hasn't done. Plays better, plays better. The husband calls me and goes, what the hell are you doing with her? He comes over and he's the one that said, hey, have you thought about writing a book on this? And I said, yeah, I'd love to share it because it's so simple. I'm not a smart guy. I'm a simple guy. So if we can make it simple for the clients and the patients and the athletes, now we can keep them accountable to movement because it's based on their metric. Can they put their feet 1 box apart? Can they put their feet 3 boxes apart? And are they using a black band heavy or are they using a light band yellow? So it just, you know what I mean? It's got to be measurable. Otherwise, we're guessing. But the movement is the assessment. And it's daily because you don't know. You understand this as an athlete. You feel different day to day. You might come in and say, I'm so tight today. You back squatted 635 and you're like, dude, I feel crushed right now, right? So we got to mobilize you and open you up and spend some time on some things to see how are you moving. Oh my God, you can't get your feet out to 48 today because you're so tight in your hips. You literally can't spread your feet to 48. Oh my, Bob, I can't get there. We have to know that because it's not like go lift more, go do more. You have to move well first. Can you get there and move in that way and get your body to flow naturally, loose fashion, all that before we're going to strengthen, perform better, push it. That's just the thing I've seen the most that people struggle with. So I think physical therapy will 100% catch up. We just have to keep explaining and they have to see the result. I think it's going to be eye-opening to them to help people.
Yeah. I have an interesting viewpoint. I just spoke with Rocky last year, actually, just inadvertently. I'll get him back on this year. And I spoke with a young man who's actually doing a foot and ankle. He specializes in foot and ankle. I spoke to him yesterday for the podcast, and his name's Joel Kerr. He'll be at Perform Better with us.
Oh, okay, great.
We were talking about injury rates amongst, and it just happened to be NFL. We didn't know the specific, like NFL spending $100 million, right? Why? And I have a theory, especially when it comes to knee damage, ACL specifically, you're seeing Achilles as well, because that's what got him and I sparking it is he sees a lot of Achilles damages from his athletes. And my theory is because turf and cleats have become too efficient. And in turn, the connection point between ground and foot is now almost locking. The next thing up chain, when you think force distribution, starts to become knee and hamstring. And so when you see a decelerative movement amongst any of your athletes, normally if you're on grass, something goes wrong, you're in an improper angle, something happens, the foot slips a little, right? You might get some mud. there's room for movement, like playing on sand. You
Right,
rarely
right.
see your hamstring tears on sand,
Uh-huh.
barring big splits and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
with
yeah.
normal movement. But then all of a sudden, the NFL comes, we're implementing all these turf fields, cleats are getting more fine-tuned, minimalist, we're really locked, blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden you're seeing huge ACL and Achilles damage, hamstring tears all through the chain. Why? And I believe it's because there's a differential conversation happening that basically you've locked the ground transference and the body is now the weakest thing to give. That's my,
That makes total sense, though.
yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
just stare at it and I'm watching when you watch some of these injuries and it's like, oh yeah, his heel was down and locked and his foot couldn't turn where normally the grass might have ripped up. Like if you played when you were younger, do you remember the
Yeah.
that would come up out of the ground?
And
Like,
like you said, the minimalist, this is true too. I wear shoes that are minimalist all the time.
yeah.
And just the other day, because I haven't played basketball in a few years, I just don't go play anymore. Because the last time I went to play, I went up for a dunk and the
Oh,
guy undercut me. And I'm like, landed on my back. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm going to play golf now. All right, I'm done. I'm not going to hurt myself. I stopped playing basketball. But my brother wants me to start playing again. And we were joking around. I said, Chet, I don't even have any shoes anymore. And he throws me a pair of these shoes, and we're same size. So he shows me, I think they were the Durants. And I put these on to run around the court. And I'm all, oh my God, these feel freaking amazing. These shoes are incredible. How soft, how, it fits the foot perfectly. It was like amazing. I felt like I was bouncy. So the minimalist of the shoe on the field and not being able to transfer any energy, like you just said, I could see that just ripping the foot. That makes a lot of sense.
it's just curious. I,
So,
I showed up when I went up to Lauren. I had broke my ankle, sprained him multiple times. Like I was bad, and I was wearing these mid cleats, right, with the big plating on the bottom, the hard plastic. It was no give, no bend. I had an ankle wrap on, and I was trying to run and do my thing. Day one, he's like, "Get them off. I don't ever want to see them again. You're not allowed to tape your ankle anymore. Go get a low cut, minimal, like just like a low cut cleat. Come back and
uh-huh,
see me." And we did
uh-huh.
basically different ankle and foot work that we talked that I spoke about yesterday, but things like bouncing on a PVC pipe, how to slide, how to basically operate the foot on multiple planes. All of a sudden, magically, my injuries disappeared. My knees were great. My hips were good. Like it cleaned me up, and I could run again. And I am a firm believer that is the cleat choice and the shoe choice. Like one,
Wow.
but we
Yeah.
we digress. As we kind of wind down, give me like a key takeaway. Give me like a big punch in the face from your presentation that we can look forward to kind of opening up the lunchbox with you, so to speak. Come perform better.
Well, it's just some of the exercises that I want them to understand the concept more than the exercises. It's like, don't come to memorize exercises, come to understand the concept and what you're looking at and what you can gain from moving better. Like I said, mobility and how we're going to use that shoulder, glute, foot in different positions, right? So are we down on all four in a bird dog? Are we on our back in a dead bug? Are we standing and reaching and rowing on one leg? And what's that balance versus the other side? And then
Yep.
how we load it. So it's like different positional things, but I really want people to understand concept. I want them to come and learn and ask questions so it makes sense. So when they leave, they literally can start picking and choosing and seeing exercises going, wow, that'll help. That's going to be a good one for that. Because that's the eye-opening thing for people is once you understand the concept, your eyes will be like, oh my God, that's a great exercise. Is it better? And this is where it gets down to how much time do you have in a day? If you're a pro athlete, that's your job. You have all day. But your client that has 20 minutes, 40 minutes,
Ain't that the
are
truth?
you going to go back squat 600 or are you going to stand on one leg and reach and row for 20 minutes and then say, wow, I'm walking better and I'm playing squash better now? I have an older guy right now who just started with me, who's 80 years old, 79, and he is playing squash. And the other day, we just started. So he's 3 weeks into it. His third week, he goes and does a squash. And before he played, he does leg press, leg curls, bicep curls. And he goes, Bob, I felt so tight. And I said,
Oh,
Bill, what are you doing? I showed you what to do to warm up. I wanted you to do those exercises I gave you as your warm up. He didn't understand that. He's all, wow, this is really a different concept. He's 80. He talks muscle group all the time. Should I feel this? Where? Where should I feel this? I'm like, it's full body, toes to knows
Everything.
it's full body. He's still 80, so he thinks muscle groups. Do I feel my bicep? Do I feel my glute? Do I feel my hamstring? He keeps asking me this 3 weeks in, but he's starting to learn like, oh, it's full body. And
Right.
that's what I hope everybody gets at Perform Better, that we're going to have different positions. We're going to do different things. We're going to look at how do we evaluate? Like, what are we looking at when we evaluate? Are we using the wall? Are we using the floor? What are we using so you can see how they move and go, oh, I can make an adjustment today for this reason, whatever that is.
Right.
So,
Cool.
because there's no one way to do it, you know? It's like start from the ground up, start from the top down, start in the middle. We're all right. It's just a matter of, are we actually taking them in the right direction?
Yes, sir. And so now, where do we find you? Give us some of your handles, where you're at. How do I?
Instagram, BAM Metrics, BAM Metrics. And then you can find me on the website with bam-metrics.com. And then any of you out there that want to email and ask a question, it's Bobby at BAMMotion, BAMMOTION.com. And I can answer your questions, or if you're another trainer out there and we can collaborate and talk. I love to come and train the staff for you guys and help and collaborate, because you'll see that the metrics help you teach your client, because they're now accountable to their movement. It's not like put your feet wide or put your feet close. We can actually get them to do what we want them to do. So thanks for having me on, Josh. Appreciate it.
This has been wonderful. And for those potential trainers or coaches, therapists that are checking us out, he will be presenting at 8 o'clock on Saturday the 20th at the Chicago Perform Better Summit. That's the 20th, so June 20th at 8 o'clock, hands-on. And I can't thank you enough, Bobby. But until next time, we will catch you later.
All right.